Di ba pala? Ayan! Hello, hello! Good evening, a blessed Thursday evening to everyone. Hello po sa inyo. We are going live earlier, pambawi po sa na-cancel na schedule natin originally last Sunday. And of course, we will share muna yung live natin. And we will wait for our audience and viewers. Ayan, share muna tayo sa mga group. Yan. Feel free to join us and share to your groups or Facebook. Ayan. Yan. Share muna tayo. And then, you can comment also kung may mga tanong po kayo or kung may pa-shoutout kayo, babasahin po natin yan. And share ko muna yung ating screen. Ayan. So sa mga bago pa lang po na follower or napadaan lang po sa FB Live natin, I am Miss Joy SP and I am on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok under Miss Joy SP. And these are the services that I offer. So yung free webinars po and mga FB Live events na monthly basis. And then I also accommodate limited online speech therapy and assessment, and provide parent caregiver coaching and training. And then meron din po tayong mga private and public school or company training na ginagawa. You can send us a message on Facebook or if you have a question or inquiry. And ito po yung events natin for the month of July. So originally, this was supposedly on ano po, last Sunday po, kaya lang may mga ibang ganap. So I'm so thankful for our guest na available siya today and agreed to push through with our schedule. And then this Saturday po, yung free speech language online consultation, you just have to save the details ng Zoom meeting kasi it's via Zoom. And then actually later ipopost ko po. Pero yung 18 din kasi is marireschedule. And then the free webinar will be on July 18 and then July 19 naman yung Neurodiverse Minds with Nanay Laika. Ayan. So if you're interested po, if you're a small business, moderate scale business, and you want to understand better how to improve and upgrade your services to be autism friendly, ayan, you can reach us and send us a message po as we provide trainings po and workshop po for this. And ito po going pa rin po yung Safe Social Group where we want to support and improve your child's language, communication, and social skills with uh, free screening po available po. So they will be grouped according to their age din po and targets and goals. Yan, you can send us a message and then you'll provide your initial details for this. So may naka-promo rate din po tayo for this one. Send us a message if you're interested po to learn more or to check out po kung fit po sa inyong kid or child. Ito po yung details, yung meeting ID and passcode. You can take a screenshot and then join us for free this coming Saturday. At ito po, mapopostpone nga po yung supposedly sa Sunday po. Just wait for further announcement po kung kailan po marireschedule si Teacher Dan po. Ayan. And without further ado, ayan. Ay, wait, check muna natin yung nasa live. Ayan, may mga kasama na tayo. Hello po sa mga nag-aabang. Actually, siguro medyo ini-expect nila 8 pa kasi maraming mga nag-react and nag-share po. Hello po sa mga kasama natin ngayon. Ayan, napaka-interesting po ng topic po natin. And sobrang natutuwa po ako kasi ito pong guest natin, super, super daling kausap. At very, ano po siya, helpful siya and mas active siya kasi sa TikTok. Ayan, si Doc Gabby. Um, I'm so glad that she said yes to this invitation to share her knowledge. And even yung topic niya, ayun, ang ganda po nung ano, brainstorming namin, what she will share for tonight. So, talagang excited ako to hear from her and to be able to have this conversation with our viewers and followers po. Sana marami silang mapulot na lesson. And to share po, ayan, introduce ko na ang aking guest for tonight, Helena Gabriel Sonar, fondly known as Doc Gabby, is a speech language pathologist and AAC specialist who has been helping individuals find their voice since 2018. She is also a licensed physician, combining her medical training with her expertise in communication therapy. As the clinical director of South Grove Therapy Center, she is committed to creating supportive, inclusive spaces where patients of all ages can thrive. Ayan! You can... Ay, mamaya na to i-plug. Ayan. Ano ko na. Stop share ko na. Hi! Hi, Teach! Hi, Doc Gabby!
Hi, good evening.
Hello! Ayan. So, mas maaga tayo. Ayan, kasi we want to have more time talaga to hear from you and to learn from you. Again, thank you talaga for saying yes.
No problem at all. Thank you for having me here.
Alright. You can share na yung screen mo, Teach.
Okay. Whew, let's go. Ayan, kita na po ba siya?
Yes.
Okay. Sige, so start na ako, Teach.
Yes, yes. Let's go.
All right. So good evening, everyone. Again, I'm Doc Gabby, and I'm going to be talking about when the journey begins, navigating a new diagnosis and finding your child's voice. So, I want to introduce myself first para sa mga hindi pa ako masyadong kilala para ma-gets natin why ito yung na-brainstorm naming topic for tonight. So again, I'm Doc Gabby, also known as DocSLP.gab on TikTok. First and foremost, I am Danny's big sister. So later, I will introduce you to my family. I graduated with my degree in BS Speech Pathology from UP Manila back in 2018, and I became a clinical supervisor for UP SLP interns at the Center for Children with Disabilities back in PGH back in 2018. And then I was also former consultant and clinical supervisor under my previous therapy center, Communicare Therapy Center. In 2020, I decided I wasn't done studying yet, so I decided to take up my Doctor of Medicine degree from UST. I graduated last 2024 and got my license back in October 2025. I decided to take up my specialization as an augmentative and alternative communication specialist. And right now, my biggest job is as the clinic director of South Grove Therapy Center here at Southwoods, Binyan, Laguna. So, going back to the first thing about me, which is Danny's big sister, I would like to introduce everyone to my family. So, this is my small family. We have Danny girl here, right beside me. That's me. This is my dad. This is Dada David, and this is Mommy Cherry, and then this is our bunso in the family, Baby Biscuit. Now, I wanted to introduce my family here because I am going to be talking to two kinds of audiences for tonight's live. So, this talk is both for professionals and families. For professionals, what I want you to pick up from my live would be to understand why some families think the way they do or make decisions the way they do, and for you as professionals to learn how to acknowledge what they're feeling, what they're thinking, and how to navigate through their denial stage. And on the other side of the coin for the families, what I want for you to pick up from this talk is how to open your minds to what the professionals are suggesting, what they feel is best for your child, and also for you to know that you're never alone in this journey. So a lot of us are going through the same journey, kaya don't ever feel alone. All right? So without further ado, let me start. This is going to be the flow of my talk for today. So we'll talk about first signs that we saw as a family for my sister, what happened afterwards. So taking the next step. Number three is finding the voice for my sister, and finally putting it all together from my perspective. So let's start with the first science. Now, this one I hear very often in my line of practice. Confusion. Kasi, Doc, okay naman siya dati. No, parang normal lang naman yung development niya before. And I feel that way too because with our family, with Danny, she seemed to be going through the normal developmental stages as well. So you can see in these pictures, ang dali niya kausapin, ang dali tawagin ng attention niya, mabilis siya mapatawa, tumitingin sa camera. Pag niloloko ko like this one, pinasuot ko siya ng bag at saka ng boots, go lang siya, pose lang siya for the camera. Hindi mahirap yung pagpapalaki sa sister ko at this point in time. And then, at one point, there started subtle changes started showing up. And nakikita yun sa mga pictures that we were taking of her. So, number one, the first thing we ever noticed, parang hindi na siya responsive. Parang sobrang likot na niya. When we try to call her attention to look at the camera, wala na. Marami kaming picture na wala na talaga yung eye contact niya dun sa camera. Next, pag may gusto kaming pagawa sa kanya, yung mga alam namin masaya para sa kids, suddenly ayaw niya. Tingnan mo kung paano siya hinahawakan ni Dada David at saka ni Mommy Cherry. Parang inaano pa siya, inaangat pa lang siya para lang kita siya dun sa camera. This was on her birthday and she liked blowing candles, she liked cakes. Pero in this situation, suddenly ayaw niya, parang hindi na siya nag-enjoy. And then this one, akala namin nagpapakyut lang siya. So every time nilalabas namin yung camera, tapos pinipicturean siya, may silly face siya lagi. So akala namin, ay, pakyut talaga to. Sobrang mischievous pala nitong batang to. Pero it was a sign of something else pala. Besides that, she had words. Nagmama na siya before, nagpapa na siya before, nakakapag-label siya ng iba't ibang bagay. And then, parang wala lang. It's as if the words were never there. Another thing na sobrang kinalungkot namin when she was young was we liked bringing her to the toy store naman para mag-enjoy siya sa childhood niya, bumili siya ng toys na gusto niya. Pero, she kept looking at those toys and yet she would never play with them. Ang hirap tanungin kung ano gusto niya. Kahit bigyan namin siya ng choices, kahit in-offer namin lahat, kahit yung mga sobrang mahal na laruan, ayaw niya. So kami, nalulungkot kami kasi lalabas kami ng toy store, either we buy something just for the sake of saying na bilan namin siya ng toy, pero hindi niya talaga siya lalaruin. And last, ito. So, syempre, we still try to get her into a regular school. Pero, we ran into a problem kasi sobrang namahal niya yung isang teacher niya na kahit nag-move up na siya sa next level, si Danny mismo lalabas ng classroom tas babalik sa dati niyang classroom. So, hindi makapag-progress yung kapatid ko dahil bumabalik siya sa previous year. And walang magawa yung teacher about it kasi may other kids sa classroom. Alangan naman puntahan pa niya si Danny at asikasuhin specifically when all the other kids, kaya naman nila, nagko-cope sila. So, hindi na namin alam at this point what we were going to do. So, eto, yung nag-run sa mind namin at this point. Kay Dada David on his end, there was late talking dun sa side ng family niya. So, syempre, the denial was there. Ito na yon na wala namang problema si Danny. It runs in the family. Ganun talaga. Mommy naman, on the other hand, thought differently kasi she saw me. So ako yung naging basis niya for comparison na bakit si Gabby nung time na yun, nagsasalita na siya, makulit na siya, Binibilang niya lagi yung pimples ko kada gising ko. Sinasabihan niya ako kung madami or konti. Ganon, ganon na ako kakulit as a child nung age ni Danny. Pero yun si Danny, nawala nga yung kaya niyang sabihin. Tapos, ito pa, very important po for all families out there. I was the only child for the longest time. Tapos, suddenly, andito na si Danny. Sobrang gandang bata niya. Ang tagal nang walang baby doon sa household. Kaya, all the attention was on her. So, ito yung exact thought ko. Hindi ako masaya. I didn't like having Danny around kasi nasa kanya lahat ng attention. So, at that point, it didn't really matter to me yung mga sinasabi nila na, ay, parang may something kay Danny. I didn't feel the need then na may gawin about it. Sad reality. And this is something then na I guess this deserves another talk. How to guide siblings through the diagnosis. Pero yun, just to show you how it was going,
Yeah.
while, Teach, while the parents were
Totoo.
going through this, I was going through this one and I had
True.
no one to talk to about it kasi I was young. I didn't know if valid yung thoughts ko. So I just kept it to myself. Yun. So different talk na siguro
Totoo.
yun.
Pero thank you for bringing it up, Tich, ha? Kasi parang
Yes.
feeling ko, yan nga din yung one of the often overlooked things talaga.
Yes.
Regardless kung neurodivergent or may signs yung kid, pero lang talaga pag malaki yung age gap, tapos matagal na only child, no, Tich?
Yes.
Oo,
Yes.
talagang
Yes.
parang feeling ko dapat merong ganong, hindi disclaimer eh, pero parang merong something na parang support pagdating talaga sa isang only child, have been only child for
Yes.
years talaga, tapos biglang may bagong baby. Kasi ano din talaga, iba talaga yung change. Alam mo, kahit na yung sa akin, di ba, even if I'm a single mom, pero si ate kasi din, matagal siyang only child
Mm,
talaga. Tapos,
yes.
ang laki din ng gap nila, almost 6 years ng gap nila. Tapos alam mo, pag nare-realize ko rin nga, Teach, ngayon, na ano, nung siya yung growing up, nung mga 5, 6 siya, yun yung developing age, yung may awareness ka na sa
Yes.
nangyayari, nare-recall mo na.
Yes.
Pero kaya sobrang magsisink in talaga and magmi-make sense talaga yung parang you feel jealous, yun nga as an only child,
Mm,
tapos may bago na, oo. Kasi parang, alam mo yung naisip ko nga, Teach, like yung mga kids na ganun, makikita nila kung paano yung attention dun sa growing child, pero sila, dahil bata sila, they will not remember paano. Like yung younger years
yes.
niya, alam mo yun, so often sinasabi ko kay ate, ate, mas pa dyan yung ginawa namin sa'yo. But she can only have our parang comforting words. Hindi niya
Yes.
talaga ma-recall na ano ba talaga yung lavish na, or kumbaga yung to our best effort to give the attention to her dahil siya lang talaga yung only child nun. Yung mga ganon, hindi na niya maaalala. Ang meron lang to the point na meron na siyang nadidevelop na consciousness and awareness for things. Tapos may isip niya na, ang sweet nila dito. Kasi wala siyang, di ba,
Yes.
exact na memory nung bata siya na mas grabe pa dyan yung sa'yo kasi only child ka for
Mhm.
so long, di ba? Ayun, sobrang nakakatawa yung point mo na na-raise yun kasi mahalaga talaga siya or even siguro kahit hindi nga sa only child, kahit dun sa mga may mga siblings kasi they go through ano talaga, stages din ng adjustment. Siguro dapat maintindihan ng parents yun as a family na we can also parang make accommodations for other siblings, older siblings, di ba? Na maiiba kasi talaga yung family dynamics pag may additional family member. Ayun, Teach.
Yes, Teach. Tama, Teach. To be fair naman sa parents ko, hindi sila nagkulang at all sa reminder sa akin na parang they love me just as much as Danny, na ako pa din yung magiging first baby girl nila. So, alam mo yun, parang they tried their best talaga to assure
Mhm.
me na hindi nila ako nakakalimutan. Pero kasi, syempre parents ko yun. I mean, they weren't the only members of the family. Meron din kami mga relatives, yung grandparents ko. Sila naman, hindi sila ganun ka-vocal about it. So, I still felt that, that
Mhm.
jealousy. Pero, kahit papano, I guess, even if nandun yung jealousy sa back of my mind, parang ayoko din na maparamdam kay Danny yun. So, may mga pictures pa din kami na palagi kami magkatabi, o kaya karga ko siya lagi. So, may ganun pa ding factor. Kumbaga, nakakalito na ba't parang may negative feelings ako, pero love
Correct.
ko siya, pero negative pa din tong naiisip ko.
Totoo, no? And yun nga pag-isipin mo, Teach, di ba, you're so young din, or yung mga kids nga natin na dumadaan sa ganun, they're young, and if no one's there to explain or to validate their feeling, di ba, it can go on kasi na meron kang kinikerry na hindi mo ma-identify. Yun nga, sabi mo, yung parang may something odd na, or negative, or parang heavy feeling na ganun, ano, na hindi mo
Yes.
ma-explain why you're having that kind of feeling. Na, ngayon ko nga din nare-realize din yun dun sa panganay ko.
Mhm.
And sometimes kapag nag-o-open siya ng mga gano'ng discussion, talagang ini-engage ko siya and tina-try kong i-shed yung light sa kanya to the best. Kasi yun nga, yung nakikita lang niya yung kung paano tini-treat yung bunso, ganyan. Tas hindi niya siyempre maalala yun sa kanya.
Yes, at saka teach for some reason. Recently kasi, sa mga families that I've been receiving at South Grove, yun yung pinaka-concern nila na binibring up nga nila na may older sibling in the picture na yun nga, syempre, ang kasama lang usually parents at saka yung child. Tapos, namomroblema din sila with the older sibling kasi nakikita nila na umiiwas, ayaw masyadong makipag-join sa family. So, I think this bears giving attention.
True.
Ayun, sige. So, eto na. So, kita nyo naman po, di ba, kung paano si Dada David at saka si Mommy Cherry, there was a difference doon sa idea nila in terms of what to do with Danny next. Ngayon, syempre kasi, they're married, so they always make decisions as a team regarding this one. But then again, kahit na, yun nga, si Mommy was very sure there was something wrong with Danny's development, there were still a lot of feelings that needed unpacking na we didn't really know kanino or sino. So, sa-summarize ko yung mga feelings na naramdaman nila at this point. So, syempre, number one, the confusion. Kasi you always have people saying na, okay lang, hayaan mo, magde-develop din naman yan. Wag mo na siyang rush. Versus, dapat nagsasalita na siya ngayon. So, 'di ba, if you were a parent now very worried, you would rather lean onto the side that would comfort you, which is kids develop at their own pace. So, ending, mas nag-relax kayo, 'di ba? And number two, there's information overload. May magsasabi na, let's say, dapat by 2 years old, ganitong kadaming words na. And then another would say na, di okay lang, kahit ganitong number of words, okay lang. So, who do you end up listening to? Again, it boils down to, sino yung mas comforting pakinggan? You would always go to that information,
Voice.
keep that
Yes.
information, that voice, di ba? Yun. Number two, it's also the guilt. Kasi syempre, iisipin mo, syempre bata yan eh. So everything that's happening to the child must have been caused by you mismo. So, yung sa mom ko specifically, ang pinaka-concern niya was her overall health during during her pregnancy with Danny. Kasi noong time na yon, daming sakit ni mommy and she was in and out of the hospital. Sobrang maselan yung pregnancy kay Danny. And yun nga, ang tagal din kasi ng gap namin. So, times were different for her body din. Kaya, nagigilty din si mommy na did she not take care of herself enough to have caused this for Danny? Tapos, syempre, yung experiences ni Danny in the early years. So, I won't get into detail about this one, but syempre, things change with the family dynamics. May nangyayari talaga sa family. Every family goes through stages. So, it was one of our low points at that point. So, Danny didn't have as much early experiences the way I did. So, napaisip din si mommy na, is this also the reason why Danny is acting this way or she's showing these kinds of skills at this point? Kasi baka kulang dahil iba yung situation namin nung bata ako versus yung situation na Danny when she was in her younger years. And then finally, the most common, the denial. So, yung pinaka number one, there is a family history kasi of late talkers. That's a very comforting thought for all families kasi once na marinig nila na, ay, yung daddy mo ganun din, late din siya nagsalita. Eh ngayon kasi okay na sila. So you always, the families have a tendency to lean on to that. Kasi if this guy turned out fine, edi most likely ito din mga anak natin na late talker, magiging okay din yan. So again, it goes back to what's comforting for the family. But
Yeah.
beyond this one, it's the next slide. So ito, yung 4 Fs na I'm sure
Mhm.
played a bigger role sa pagdili ng assessment ni Danny. Number one, very Filipino, it's the fear. Kahit na may iniinda na tayong sakit, ayaw natin pumupunta sa doktor kasi when we go to the doctor and when we get the tests done, it confirms what we know already. So tayo, parang may tendency tayo na ignorance is bliss. ayaw na lang
Mhm.
natin malaman. So, ganun tayo, umiiwas tayo dun sa question na what if she is delayed? Number two, family dynamic. So, very important to note sa buong family kasi namin, nag-work both parents. Tapos ako, yung teenager na nag-act up, medyo angsty, may jealousy at the back of my mind. Tapos nung time na to, medyo mahina na din yung grandparents. And then, we have a lot of judgment from faraway relatives regarding yung sa development ni Danny. So, alam mo yon, kumbaga, it felt at that point, we had so many big problems at the same time. Na it was just so difficult to figure out which one deserved the most priority. Parang kumbaga lahat sila, red tag priority sila. So wala na, parang there is no external support for the family. Kaya wala din kami magagawa, hindi kami makausad kasi we had our own challenges. Third, false hope. So, yung madalas, syempre, may fear ka na eh. So, kinukwento mo sa friends, kinukwento mo sa mga family members na ka-close mo. Alangan naman, saktan ka ng family members mo, ng friends mo, 'di ba? Their usual tendency is to assure you that everything will be okay based on experiences din na alam nila from outside. Kasi very hesitant actually ang mga friends and family natin to tell you na ay mukhang delayed nga talaga yung anak mo. They'd rather comfort you. Parang kumbaga yun yung naiisip nila na kaya ka nag-open up sa kanila kasi they need comfort. So ending, they tend to say things that would comfort you but are actually very far from the truth you needed to hear. So nagkaka-false hope ka. And the biggest, and I'm sure a lot of Filipino families go through this, finances. Sobrang mahal ng assessment, sobrang mahal ng treatment, and remember, teach, ito kasi, this is mga 2000s, before 2010. So, mas konti pa yung, yung support for cases like Danny. Kaya wala kaming matakbuhan, wala kaming mahingan, sobrang haba ng pila ng mga waitlist. So, wala na din. Parang we felt so defeated at this point na wala. Ganun talaga eh. Kaya hindi na lang pinursige, unfortunately. So,
Mhm.
when I say this, I think this bears clarification talaga. Siyempre, yung thoughts namin plus all of the reasons why dinelay namin yung assessment namin, ang naging end point talaga namin for all this is hintayin na lang natin. Let's see what's going to happen to Danny in the long run. But
Mhm.
when we said this one, nung sinabi namin sa lahat na titingnan lang namin, we'll observe si Danny, it doesn't mean na hindi namin siya mahal, na wala kaming pakialam sa nangyayari kay Danny, and mas madaming important things than what Danny's going through. But what it really meant was, we were so confused. Ang daming iba-iba yung sinasabi. We don't really know sino ba talaga yung kakausapin para malaman ano yung mga next steps. Lalo na ngayon, there's too much information. Ang dami-daming mga nagpo-post, kaya hindi mo na alam kung sino yung papakinggan mo. Tapos, as I said, financially, it was very, very difficult. Parang yun nga, families go through highs and lows, and we were at one of our lowest points. So, yung finances were very, very strained na we were just trying our best to live day to day. And yun nga, as much as we wanted to prioritize yung kay Danny talaga, number one, we didn't know how. And number two, yun nga, strained na kami as it is. If anything went wrong kasi, wala na kaming fallback. Kumbaga, baka naman we will find ourselves on the streets. Ganon siya kalala. Kaya, we tried to delegate the finances as best as we can. And, yun nga, overall, that just really means we wanted to help Danny, pero we didn't know how. That's what we mean when we say let's wait. And this is what a lot of families mean when they say let's wait. Marami silang confusion pa that needs answers. So, yun, when professionals, especially mga therapists, mga doctors, especially hear this, um, I hope we remember to open our minds. Kasi usually we come from a place of judgment. And surprisingly, even me as a professional, nung narinig ko ito nung una, parang ako din, I was guilty of thinking na bakit parang wala naman pakialam to sila mommy and daddy dun sa anak nila. Kitang-kita naman yung delay nila. And then napaisip din ako na, bakit kayo? Bakit family namin? Ganon din kay Danny, we did the same thing. So what makes us so different? And then yun, it took a lot of thinking through na parang, oh, they don't mean na wala silang pakialam. They just mean na they don't know what to do next. So
Okay. Yeah.
confusion.
Teach,
Mm.
ipopause ko muna dito para mag-shoutout tayo sa mga audience natin na
Okay,
mga
sige, sige.
na sumali sa atin. Ayan. Kasi may mga nag-comments at nag-greet. Yan, si Sir Sherwin, good evening po. Ma'am Jenny Mel, hello po. May question si Mr. Sean Germain pero medyo malayo po. Not really. Hindi pa ganun. Mamaya try nating balikan yan. Hi,
Sige.
Nanay Fatima, awesome nanay. And si Miss MJ nag-share siya. Same like me, my son at 2 years old, di pa masyado nagto-talk. Then my mother and lola told me, okay lang yan. Kapag lalaki, mostly delayed talaga magsalita. So doon ako nag-rely. My older brother was delayed talking din daw. So yan, thank you for sharing po. Ayan, Miss Annabelle from Lucena City. Hello po. Ayan, nagtatag din sila ng mga friends nila. So ano, alam mo, Teach, nakikinig ako sa iyo and thank you for sharing nga because this is a family experience, a personal and family experience. And thank you for ang dami ko natutunan so far sa mga na-share mo. Pero as I was listening to you teach, alam mo yun parang I hope na yung mga naka-tune in sa atin, they feel seen sa mga sinabi mo. Na
Yes.
alam mo yun, feel seen, feel relatable na at one point this is me, at one point this is our family. Tapos it gets spoken. Lalo na yung sinabi mo yung why the assessment was delayed, yung mga reasons mo, yung common. Parang I hope yung mga audience natin can find themselves na, oo nga no, ito pala yung nararamdaman ko na hindi ko ma-put into words or na hindi ko alam kung bakit ako hindi maka-step forward. Tapos itong mga sinabi mo dito nga no, na let's wait kasi it doesn't mean talaga na they don't want eh. Minsan talaga a lot of factors, a lot of things are happening na ang hirap talaga na yun nga, yung sinabi mo, di ba? Parang lahat priority. So,
Yes.
'di ba, paano mo uunahin? Sino dito yung ipa-priority mo sa lahat ng mga big problems na anong uunahin ba dapat? And it doesn't necessarily mean na yun nga na nagpapabaya sila or they don't love the person or hindi nila nakikita. Pero a lot of things going on talaga. So, I hope marami pong ayun makarelate and makita nila yung sarili nila and yun nga find help and support din how to move forward. Okay, go
Yes.
teach.
Okay, sige. So, dahil nandun na tayo, we're going to the next step na. So, what really pushed us from that stage na let's wait, yung denial stage namin, into going into the actual steps to get my sister help. So, step one, and I want to credit this is a school by our family friend. So, it's called Child's Home Educational Center. This is located in BF Parañaque. So, one of the things, Teach, na sobrang tumatak talaga sa amin, and the reason we decided to move forward with this one is because there was honesty with no judgment. And this is a very underrated skill for professionals. Kasi I still see this happening in our practice na when you see a child who's showing possible delays, we do have a tendency to label it immediately as a delay. So, ang nangyayari, yung mga parents who are still in the stage of denial or who are not ready to accept the reality, mas nagpo-push back sila. Kasi nga, who are you to tell me my child is delayed? Kumbaga, parang it feels like a personal attack. Kasi again, di ba, dami nilang feelings na unspoken, unpacked. So, when you come to them saying that immediately to the child, na nakita nyo lang, once nyo lang nakita ganun, offend for a lot of families. So, this is very important, yung honesty with no judgment. Kumbaga, when you are telling someone about yung concerns mo, you should label it as you see it. So, for example, Danny showed difficulty finishing tasks alone. Kaysa, Danny requires my assistance to finish the task. Or she did not play with her classmates. Ito yung mas gusto namin marinig kaysa sa ayaw niya makipag-play sa other people. You see the subtle difference dun sa language. Kumbaga, doon kasi sa usual na sinasabi sa a lot of families, negative agad. Kumbaga, parang pinipili ng bata na pahirapan yung ibang tao sa paligid nila or ayaw lang niya. Pero, when you phrase it this way kasi, it's objective. Walang halong emotions, walang halong assumptions na hindi kaya ng bata or ayaw nung bata. It's as is lang siya. So, she frequently refused to do class activities. Ganon. So, this one's very important. I also do this with, recently kasi we had a partner school, tapos I've had the chance to talk to other parents, and a lot of these parents, yun nga, nakikita ng mga teachers na may pinapakitang signs yung mga anak, pero these parents, syempre, weren't convinced just yet. So, the teachers already tried to talk to the parent, pero it parang never got through to them. So, I did what this says, yung honesty with no judgment. And surprisingly, at the end of that 5-minute talk, nag-ask na din yung parent na, so what do you think, Doc, kailangan po ng anak ko? Maybe you can recommend me the next step. So, ganon. That's how effective this one is. Honesty with no judgment. Tapos, yung next stage yun. So, di ba, yung parent na yon asked me na, ano ba yung next step? Ano yung ma-recommend ko sa kanya? It was the clear instructions. You have to remember po kasi at this point, overwhelmed na yung families doon sa lahat ng new information that they're trying to make sense of, plus yung reality right in front of them. If you give them vague instructions like, pa-assess mo na yan, period, you're giving them another task, which is to look for sino mag-a-assess nito. Tatype niya pa sa Google. It's another information overload sa kanila. So you have to make it very specific. Ipa-check nyo na sa developmental pediatrician. Meron sa mga malalapit na hospitals, tawagin mo lang yung reception nila, ask mo kung sino merong developmental pediatrician doon. Tapos, this one very helpful for my family. While we were waiting for the next step, yun nga, my sister actually stayed doon sa child's home. So kahit papano, may interaction pa din yung sister ko, and there were still attempts at getting her to participate doon sa classroom. So, alam mo yun, parang it took a village na tumulong din sa amin para to decrease yung load na we were already burdened with. So, help at saka yun nga, clear instructions as to what to do next. Okay, now, so we went to the next step, which is nakapag-seek na kami ng assessment. Ngayon, this specific step naman, teach, disclaimer lang for everyone watching na this was a personal experience, and usually, hindi naman ganito yung nakikita kong experiences with others, but this is what happened in our situation. So, we went for the assessment, kaso this is what the assessment felt like to us. Ang dami na naming na-research about it. So, walang sinasabi yung person na yon na hindi na namin alam. Kumbaga, ang purpose namin sana for the assessment was to be informed about the whys of why Danny was the way she was na hindi namin alam. Tapos, yun, during our specific interaction, mas madalas niya kaming kinausap kaysa sa kinausap niya si Danny. Eh, 'di ba? Ang pinasok kasi namin is assessment niya. So, case history is important, but your interaction with the child is also more as important as the case history. Tapos, unfortunately, in our experience, teach, na-rush kami. Na-rush kami through the assessment. So, I think the appointment lasted less than 30 minutes, ata, if I remember correctly. So, ending, we paid a lot for the assessment, tapos wala din nasabi sa amin na hindi namin alam. So, hindi nasagot yung, ano, ibig sabihin ng diagnosis niya, masama ba yun? Magkaka-future pa ba siya? Kasalanan ba namin? None of that was unpacked during the session. So unfortunately, because this is the part where the diagnosis is revealed, ang daming kailangan na asikasuhin. Not just yung sa pag-assess ng child, you also have to help the family cope with this sudden new diagnosis. It's the same as any other medical diagnosis. Kailangan pina-follow through sa family what comes next. So,
Mm.
ito yung concern
Teach,
namin ng, ay,
sorry,
yes,
if
go,
I
go.
may just, yeah, bring up. So, yung time na yun, do you remember how old you are and how old Danny was?
7, I think I was around, kasi 9 years yung agwat namin ni Danny. I was around 15, I think.
And
Tama
Danny
ba?
is
Danny was 7.
nung time na yun.
Yes.
Tapos teach kasama ka ha? You were inside
Yes.
the room when the assessment happened.
Yes, I was there, teach. So, by that time naman, medyo tumanda na ako at umayos naman yung way of thinking ko sa sister ko. I was also looking forward to what that person had to say about my sister. Pero wala din. Parang
Mm.
paglabas namin ng room, nagtinginan kaming tatlo, ni mommy, na dada, ako. Tapos, parang wala. There was
Mhm.
no sense of satisfaction nung lumabas
Mm.
kami. Tapos,
Mhm.
yun, lahat ng mga feelings that we had previously, wala din. Parang, ano lang, okay, we're done with the next step. Ganito pala yun. Akala namin yun na yun. So,
Pero
apparently, it's
teach,
not.
yeah, anong diagnosis yung binigay back then when she
It
was
was
07?
autism spectrum disorder na.
Okay. Tapos, ano yung naalala mong instruction that they give after nun? Saan siya placement? Anong
Sinabi lang
placement?
was, start OT, start speech.
Wala
Tapos,
sinabi about school placement.
wala. Tapos I remember yun specifically, teach, parang, syempre, we were new to this, at that point din, parang di pa ako familiar sa speech at saka sa occupational therapy. So, sinabi lang, oh, start speech therapy, start occupational therapy. Tapos napaisip kami, ano yun?
Mm,
Sige,
mm.
we'll start it. Pero ano yun? Ganon.
Mhm.
Walang ganon. Walang explanation at all. So, parang sunod-sunuran na lang kami na, sige, sabi naman ni person kasi ganito. So, susundan na lang
Mhm.
din namin. Nakakalito.
Mhm.
Mas nalito kami
Mm.
after the assessment.
Mhm. Okay. Next.
Ayun. So yun nga, some of the, I highlighted some specific concerns na we really wanted to be addressed nung session na yon, and what I think would have helped us as a family. So number one, it was a new diagnosis, but of course we had a background on it, but it would have helped to hear it from the perspective of the doctor na mas naiintindihan namin. Kasi syempre ang daming information online that still uses medical jargon. So it doesn't break it down to my family members na wala talagang background sa healthcare. So, for example, ano ba yung ASD? Ano ba yung diagnosis? So, yung pagka-explain lang man lang na it's just a different way of thinking. Hindi naman siya parang problema talaga. Yun, iba lang yung pag-process nila sa paligid nila. Tapos, paano nada-diagnose yung bata na yun? Kasi, nung time na yun, teach, kumbaga, sabi ko nga, hindi din siya masyado nakipag-interact dun sa kapatid ko, mas kinausap niya kami. So, how did he come up with the diagnosis na ganito? Na hindi niya, parang he spent little less than a minute looking at her and interacting with her. So, it would have also helped to walk us through how she was diagnosed. So, yung pag-explain niya nung mga findings niya to arrive at the diagnosis. Parang I felt like we deserved at least that, na hindi kami binigla. Meron talagang valid reasons for that one. Kasi again, at that point, hindi pa kami ako, hindi pa ako professional. My parents don't have a background sa healthcare. So, explain man lang in layman's terms how we got to ASD. Kasi mabigat for us, for our family. So ito lang, kumbaga parang tinranslate ko lang na ano ba yung criteria ng autism that has to be satisfied para ma-diagnose yung isang bata. Yun, yung social communication difficulties or hirap sila makipag-usap, yung restricted repetitive behaviors, yung mga galawan na paulit-ulit or hirap sila sa changes sa environment nila. The fact nakita siya during early childhood habang bata pa at saka affected yung daily living nila. So that's actually the 4 criteria that's necessary to diagnose a child with autism na sana sinabi din sa amin nung time nung assessment. Next is, eto, I hear this often from parents, 'di ba? Makakapagsalita pa ba siya? Lalo na at that point, Danny was hardly using any words. I don't remember her using words at this point, more of shouting and whining talaga siya. So, it could have helped na kahit hindi kami bigyan ng false hope ulit na oo, makakapagsalita yan eventually, basta ipasok nyo sa therapy. Pero yung ma-explain man lang na iba-iba kasi yung mga bata, iba-iba yung reasons bakit hindi sila nagsasalita. Pero kung try natin ibigay sa kanya lahat ng support na pwedeng ibigay sa kanya ngayon, baka naman at one point magsasalita talaga siya. Ganon, no false hope, but at the same time, merong slight touch of hope doon sa mga sinasabi niya.
Mhm.
Tapos, this one, dahil at that point nga hindi po kami familiar sa lahat ng therapy. Kailangan ba talaga lahat yan? Hindi pa pwede isa lang dyan. So, the simple explanation could have been yes. Kasi iba-iba silang professional, iba-iba silang ginagawa. So, walang three in one. Dapat specific therapists for specific concerns. So, yun lang. Very simple explanation, very quick, pero at least na unawaan namin na, okay, so kung sinabi niya na dapat may occupational therapy, may speech therapy, magkahiwalay yun yung hahanapin namin. Pero also, explanation, ano ba yun? Kasi nga hindi kami familiar din. Yung speech therapy kind of speaks for itself eh. Pero yung occupational therapy kasi doesn't. Kaya doon kami nalito. Pero kung sinabi niya na kailangan, edi sige, sunod-sunuran na lang kami even if we didn't really know what we were getting ourselves into. Now, eto, teach, very, very important. So, as I said, doon kasi sa part nung assessment talaga, hindi dapat naiiwan tong part na to for the family. Kasi we have to remember na, yes, it's important to know where the child is at currently, ano yung mga kailangan ng child at this point. But we should never forget na in order to get that child to the next step, to get the support they need, we have to support the family as well. Kasi kung hindi kaya ng family, nagbe-breakdown, nagwawala sa emotions, they will not be able to help the child. So, three things that we have to validate sa family. Number one, acknowledging lahat ng mga spoken and unspoken emotions nila. Number two, helping families delineate between decisions that are guided by the heart and decisions guided by the brain. And number three, how to redirect their energy to something more objective para masupport yung kailangan masupport doon sa mga bata. So, let's go into this one, teach, yung acknowledging spoken and unspoken emotions. Kasi again, when you give the diagnosis, hindi nag-react yung families all the same way. May ibang families I've seen na sobrang relieved na finally there's an answer to everything that's going on. There are families na takot kasi they see no future dahil dito sa diagnosis. All they see is the burden of the future. So, iba-iba sila ng reactions. And some of them are quite open about it. Sasabihin nila na, Dok, medyo natatakot ako, o kaya, Dok, wala na ba talagang pag-asa? Or ito na talaga yon ganon. But, a lot of families actually teach, hindi sila nag-open up. Parang, actually, I feel like yung family din namin, during the time na nabigay yung diagnosis, kumbaga parang, in-expect na namin kasi siya, pero wala din kaming nalabas na emotions at that time. Tahimik lang kami. Pero definitely, a lot of things were running through our head na, kasalanan ko ba to? Magkaka-friends pa ba siya? Besides having just the future, being independent, it's the fact na will the child ever have relationships with anyone else? Number three, what if hindi namin kaya? Parang sobra na tong demand sa amin. Medyo nahihirapan na nga kami as is. Madami pa kaming kailangan gawin. And this one, hindi na magiging normal ang life namin. All of these usually unspoken and sometimes kailangan ma-bring up during the session para lang ma-unbox yung feelings na yon. So,
Totoo.
'di ba, teach? So, ito very important kasi sometimes may mga thought process kasi yung mga professionals na pag vinalidate mo kasi lahat yun, parang kumbaga sinasabi mong totoo na siya. That's not true. So kumbaga, when you're validating emotions, you're not agreeing na totoo siya. You're just, kumbaga parang ina-acknowledge mo lang talaga na it's okay to feel that way. But that's not the only reality that you will be facing moving forward. Kumbaga, worst case scenario lang most of the time yan. Pero there are other realities that are still possible from this point forward. Pero yun,
Mhm.
kailangan mo i-acknowledge yun muna bago ka mag-move on to the next step, which is
Tot
yung sa decision making. Yun. So, at this point kasi, very, very emotional na yung mga families. Especially when when you didn't provide time to unbox those emotions. Everything moving forward sa mga families, out of their heart's desires na lang yung mga pinipili nila. So, for example, yung talagang yung pain na hindi mo ma-accept na ito na talaga may diagnosis, so your tendency is to just say na, hindi totoo yan. Kailangan lang niya ng panahon. Just wait and see. Magiging normal pa din siya. Pero, if you remove the emotion from it, parang ma-realize mo na pwede pa naman yung gusto ng heart mo, pero pwede din naman yung nire-recommend ng professionals, which is, magbigay na tayo ng support ngayon, at the same time, minomonitor natin. So, kumbaga, tinitingnan din natin yung progress ng bata. Pero at this point na alam na natin kasing kailangan nila, what's the harm of giving it to them? Kung meron part sa heart mo that believes firmly na magiging okay pa din lahat, na magiging, kumbaga, makakahabol yung anak mo, then a little more support will not hurt your child. 'Di ba? So, yun, kailangan natin i-balance yung sa emotions at saka yung sa thinking natin. Next, very emotional response din to for families. Sige, gawin na natin lahat. Kahit yung mga hindi evidence-based, may narinig ako sabi, effective tong procedure, effective tong mga gamutan. Go, bigay natin lahat.
Correct.
'Di ba?
Totoo, ang dami niyan.
Ang
And
dami
yun yung
mong
sad,
teach.
totoo, yun yung sad part,
Mm-mm.
Teach, kasi if you think about it, dun sa mga not evidence-based na solutions or mga answers, 'di ba, ganyan, they appeal so much to the emotional parents, to the burdened parents na, baka pag ininom ko to or, baka pag ginawa to, parang pagising namin sa umaga, okay na ang buhay namin, back to
Yes.
normal na kami. So, sobrang
Mm-mm.
nakaka-dishearten talaga when parents na needy, na alam mo yun, confused, na
Yes.
emotional, babatuhan mo ng mga ganyang hindi evidence-based, tapos sasaluhin nila ng buong kamay,
Yes.
open arms. Yes,
Yes,
tatakbo pa sila diyan, 'di
sobra.
ba? Na without a doubt kasi alam mo nga na parang wala man lang na filter, wala man lang na, yun nga, hindi na nagamit talaga yung objective decision, Teach, kasi super
Yes.
super emotional lang. Tapos gusto lang nilang magising sa bangungot na to. Which
Yes.
is, yun nga,
True.
sometimes hindi mo na-realize na, teka lang, sayang, dahil nga parang rush ka din doon, tapos you made a decision emotionally, you haven't checked
Mm-mm.
about, di ba, the details of it, ano yung ano. Tapos minsan, natatangay ka lang kasi, ang dami nagsasabi, ginamit nila yun, effective yun, ganyan-ganyan. Yun, tapos parang nag-lead na rin siya sa false hopes, di ba, Teach? Kasi you're expecting
Yes.
na dahil sinabi ng mga to, na ang dami nilang uminom nito or ginawa ito, tapos
Mm-mm.
yung anak, ikaw din, nagkakaroon ka ng false hopes na, ako, magiging ganyan din kami. So, totoo,
Yes.
Teach, yun yung kahit ako, sobrang na-heartbroken ako sa mga ganon na nasusway yung mga parents dun sa mga not
Mm-mm.
evidence-based just because nagiging viral, just because ang daming,
Yes.
yeah, nagki-claim na trinay nila to, tapos okay sa kanila. And again, yung sinasabi mo nga, di ba, ang daming information available sa social media and not all are good, di ba?
Yes.
So, kung hindi ka talaga marunong mag-filter, kung hindi ka talaga very critical, madali kang masusway into thinking na,
Mm-mm.
yes, go with the flow ako dito, without really securing kung okay ba talaga siya, kasi naniwala pa rin gano'n, naging blinded ka by, yun nga, viral siya or marami nagsasabi, mga ganyan. Ayun, Teach.
Yes. Ganun talaga, Teach. Parang at the end of the day kasi, sobrang naaawa ko dito sa mga parents na to. Kasi kahit nasabihin natin na may naninig nga sila na effective yon, you're asking a lot of parents to shell out. Di ba nga, financial wise, ang dami na kasing burden sa mga parents. And then suddenly, may narinig ka na, ito effective, pero sobrang mahal. Pero kasi sabi effective. Kaya ikaw, as a parent, na mahal mo yung anak mo and you want to do everything for your child, you're willing to do it. Pero kasi, ang dami, unfortunately, ang dami talagang mapagsamantala in these days na may ibebenta sa'yo na meron naman talagang yung effective kind nun, pero ang ibebenta sa'yo yung peke o kaya yung kung ano-ano yung itutusok, ganun. Pero hindi sila regulated. So, yun yung mahirap kasi um, these parents, yun nga, again, minamaximize nila lahat ng klaseng therapy. So, sabay-sabay lahat tong mga not evidence-based at saka evidence-based. Unfortunately, ang nangyayari is when there's improvement, mas binibigyang pansin na, dito to sa non-evidence-based kaysa dun sa evidence-based. So, mas nagkakagulo na lahat. Kaya, kawawa, ang pinakakawawa talaga dito are the families who just want the best for their children.
Totoo. At saka sana may special space in hell sa mga mga ano nagte-take
Yes,
advantage talaga
yes.
naman, 'di ba? Na para
Tama,
lang
Teach.
kumita sila. May special place in hell sa kanila. So kasi if you think about it, naghihirap na nga 'tong mga families, burdened na nga sila. Tapos mate-take advantage pa sila ng mga ganito. Sobra talagang ibang level ng heartbreak yung gano'n na makakarinig ka ng mga gano'ng kwento, Teach,
Pera-pera na
talaga.
lang talaga, Teach, unfortunately. And we see it more often these days. Kaya, yun, as much as I can, talagang I try to clarify with parents na yun nga, what we do, the best thing that we can do for the child is to have them assess to see kung ano talagang pinaka-difficulties nila and what they really need. Para yung gagastusan lang ng parents, yung talagang makakatulong directly sa kailangan ng mga anak nila. Para wala nang ito. Ito lang. Kasi ito lang yung concern ng anak mo. Diretso lang tayo. Yun. Tapos, ito, lagi ko po sinasabi, teach to sa mga parents na, again, it's okay to feel things. It's okay na may nararamdaman kayo about this new diagnosis and what it entails para lang mabigay sila yung proper support. But I want you to parang somehow compartmentalize mo muna yan. Ramdaman mo muna yung emotions mo. Do not try to suppress it. Feel it, label your emotion, think of all the questions you have in your head, and then you start thinking about your child separately. Ano yung mga nakikita mo sa anak mo? Ano sa tingin mo yung makakatulong sa anak mo? Ano yung sinasabi ng professionals na makakatulong? Tsaka ka mag-decide. Kumbaga, when you try to suppress kasi one, the tendency is umaapaw siya without you realizing it. So like for example, yung sa emotions, as much as you try to suppress it, mas umaapaw siya dun sa decision making mo without you realizing it. So you have to feel it. You have to let it all out before you make any decisions.
Mhm. Sobrang
Now,
importante.
'di ba? Yes. So now, ito teach, very important. Kasi once you get that out of your system, yung lahat ng emotions na labas na, pinag-isipan mo na talaga mabuti, this also requires highlighting with families na we have to direct all of our energy now moving forward. Kasi hindi na talaga mapapalitan yung diagnosis kung ano yung meron yung anak nila. Pero what you can influence moving forward now is how the support that they can receive. So yung early intervention, the changes you can do at home moving forward, how the family gets involved sa development ng anak nila, advocating for the child in all settings, in school, outside school, sa mga public spaces. Parang hanggang ngayon kasi may contention pa about, parang 'di ba, ang daming recent issues like yung pinag-usapan ko before na hospital na 'to, pedya na mismo yung place na yon, pero meron pang ibang mothers who don't want yung mga children nila with neurotypical children nila dun sa mga neurodivergent. So, in a hospital, in a PDS office, nakakasakit sa puso marinig yun as a family member with someone na neurodivergent. At saka, syempre, celebrating all kinds of progress, whether small or big progress. Kasi teach recently, I had this, sa recent live ko, I had a mom ask me, is it okay to ask for a second diagnosis? How often does a DevPed get the diagnosis wrong? Kasi hindi daw siya convinced sa diagnosis na binigay ng anak niya, sa anak niya. So, what I asked si mommy was, Mommy, if you go to a deathbed tomorrow and the deathbed changes the diagnosis, does it change how your child will be tomorrow? Kumbaga, ano ba yung kaya ng anak mo ngayon in terms of communication, in terms of yung attention and focus, yung life skills niya? Will it change tomorrow if the diagnosis changes tomorrow? Tas yun, parang napaisip si mommy na hindi din. Pero kasi, what mommy was thinking at that point was, it was a death sentence yung diagnosis na yon. So, sabi ko kay mommy, it's actually hard to look that far ahead na you haven't thought about your next steps yet. So, before you think that far out, you have to first move your energy to controlling the direction where you want the future to go. So, ito lang talaga yung makokontrol mo. So, at this point, it's best to let go of that need to get a second opinion for a new diagnosis kasi andyan na yun eh, hindi magpapalit yung presentation ng anak mo dyan sa second deathbed. So, all you have to do now is to follow through with the support na you can provide para yung future na kinakatakutan mo, kahit papano, you move away from that one. Yun. Kasi,
Mhm.
again, worst case scenario lagi yung pumapasok sa utak eh.
Totoo. You know what? I appreciate Tish dun dito sa sinabi mo nga no na kanina yung parang yung flow ng talk mo even from start is having the parents know na it's okay to feel yun nga and label their emotions talaga kasi sometimes yun nga yun yung suppressing yung you don't want to fear you don't want to face the fear of unknown tsaka yung kung ano mga yung possibilities kasi sobrang nakakatakot sila. Pero yun nga allowing yourself to feel it, to cry for it or kung ano man yung need nyo will help kasi talaga na mas maging clear yung thinking nyo and yung next step na gagawin talaga ninyo will move you out from that space talaga of pag nandun ka na parang yun nga tinatry mong i-suppress lang talaga yung mga hindi mo makontrol doon ka hindi mo napapansin doon ka nagdodwell versus dito sa mga hinighlight mo things that you can control yun talaga yung magagawa mo eh. And alam mo, it comes to mind yung mga parents na talagang sobrang parang ang naging energy and mission nila is to find out anong cause. Gusto kong malaman bakit naging ganito yung anak ko. Isa pa yun, parang if you think about it, yung tanong mo, will it change kapag nalaman mo? Parang pag ba nalaman mo na, ito, example and I'm not saying na right, pero kung iron nga, yung naging cause or whatever it is, di ba? Mababago ba, 'di ba? Yun yung tanong
Yes.
kasi eh. Pero sometimes hindi napapansin ng isang parent yun kasi probably yung mga feelings niya are suppressed also. It's not
Yeah.
being they're not able to process it and to label it and to come to terms with it. Yun nga, kung kailangan mong iiyak, iiyak mo siya talaga. Tapos process din siya for you to have that acceptance. Tapos yun talaga kasi yung pag-go through dun sa binigay mong steps, yung process na yun teach, will help you talaga to be able to reach to the part na nire-redirect mo yung energy mo to what you can control and what works. Kasi kung
Yes.
hindi, masastuck ka talaga dun sa fear of unknown mo, tsaka lahat ng, yun nga,
Mm.
yung mga fear mo of the future, nandun ka lang eh. Tapos, hindi ka talaga parang kahit na iniisip mo na nag-move forward ka or gusto mo ng solution, pero hindi mo nakikita, nagsistay ka doon kasi nga may mga feelings ka, yung hindi ka pa nakakapag-grieve doon sa mga naramdaman mo, sa mga hopes mo, yung grieve mo doon sa child mo na ini-expect mo na ganito siya, ito yung naisip mo, na plan out mo sa mind mo, na hindi na pala mangyayari, 'di ba? So yung mga ganong process emotionally important talaga siya for you to be able to see na kung yun nga, mag-change ba yung diagnosis or whatever, hindi na kasi na andun yung focus mo. Nandito ka na sa ano yung mga within my hands na kaya kong i-push forward para mas maging positive, para mas maging productive, or mas maging better yung future. Itong mga hinighlight mo dito na within a parent's control, kapag natapos na nila yung grieving stage, yung alam mo yun, yung mga ganong phase na nabanggit mo earlier.
Yes. Alam mo, teach, it helps kasi also to give parang situation sa mga parents na parang ano lang, kumbaga pang-compare lang nila. Ang lagi ko sinasabi sa parents kasi sa ganito, kaya I always have them let out their emotions. Sabi ko sa kanila, parang break up lang yan. 'Di ba usually sasabihin mo na, ay, okay lang ako, deserve ko naman talaga ng better, ganon. Pero parang ending, hindi ka talaga masaya. You have to keep convincing yourself na masaya ka sa sobrang ayaw mo, ina-avoid mo yung emotions mo dun sa breakup na yon, kino-convince mo na masaya ka, you actually end up more miserable. trouble. So, yung parang ganun
Mhm.
lang na wala, there are some things that you just have to feel and unpack para talaga makapag-move forward ka. You have to feel the negative before you go into the positive talaga. Yun. It
Totoo.
helps talaga na i-break yung mga situation sa parents na parang ganun lang yun, ganun kasimple lang yung thought process.
Yeah, or yung na ma-discuss siya 'no, because if you think about
Mm.
it, wala naman nagsasabi na, "Uy, important pala yun, na gan'to pala siya, na helpful how it will affect me to be able to reach to the objective decision," 'di ba? Kasi kung lagi kang na-stuck dun sa emotional kasi ayaw mong i-label, ayaw mong i-process yung feelings mo, 'di ba? Lagi ka
Yes.
lang nandun sa parang initial stage and part, 'di ka makaka-move talaga. Whereas 'pag
Yes.
nakita mo na, "Oo nga 'no, eto yung mga puwede kong makontrol, eto yung mga puwede kong positively ma-influence sa anak ko tsaka sa future namin, 'di ba? Ito yung mga things na 'to. Yung tinatawag ko nga din siya teach na more of solution-based. Kasi kapag nandiyan na yung problem, hindi sa alisin mo yung whatever it is, hindi ko sinasabi na parang pero 'pag na-recognize mo siya as a problem, 'pag na-process mo na siya and na-accept mo as problem, papunta ka na dun sa solution-based, yun talaga, mas makikita mo na ano yung mga possible things na capable ka to do and to act upon para
Yes.
'di ba, ano yung next? Ano yung mas magagawa? Hindi ka na stuck dun na, eto may malaki lang akong problema na parang binibitbit mo lang siya na sobrang burden ka.
Mm.
Pero 'pag na-process mo na siya, nag-switch ka na as solution-based, makikita mo talaga, okay, it will get better kasi nakikita mo nga yung mga things na, "Oo nga 'no, makokontrol ko yung mind ko, makokontrol ko yung mga fears na meron ako, tapos I'll just take it one day at a time," kagaya nung sinabi mo. So those things are very helpful.
Yes. At saka deserve talaga ng support ng families. Parang kahit papaano, they have to go through this, but hopefully not alone. So, yun din yung task natin as professionals. Yun. So, going back, yun nga, ang validation usually kasi ending lang na, "Oh, opo, mommy, I understand what you must be feeling right now." So, it shouldn't end there. It shouldn't just be, "I understand." It's supposed to be turning yung fear nila with the unknown nga to understanding what's in store for them. Yung guilt nila na baka kasalanan nila, more of self-compassion na, "Ay, kahit papaano naman, I'm trying my best and I will continue to try my best to help." Yung helplessness nila, meron silang magagawa about it. There are support teams ready to lend the helping hand. Hindi sila mag-isa dito sa journey. And ito nga, the uncertainty of the future. We can always plan for the future that we want for the child. So, there's always actionable steps within those emotions. Now, eto naman, medyo mas personal and mas in terms of as a speech therapist, ito yung gusto ko laging hina-highlight. And I'm putting this here kasi this was also a part of our journey with Danny. So, at this point kasi, yun nga, we had her assessment done. She was asked to go through all of these therapies. At that point, Danny was minimally verbal. When I say minimal, I mean very, very, very minimal. Wala talaga siya masyadong words. It's mostly shouting and whining. Wala siyang specific gestures. Parang hindi mo talaga, not even pointing teach. We try to make her point, hindi talaga siya nagpo-point. So, kahit yung paghila niya sa amin, usually parang she stops at a distance. Tapos, hindi na namin alam kung anong gusto niya. Kasi, like,
Kailangan
for
niya.
example, di hihilain niya kami, pero magsa-stop siya dun sa gitna na walang anything na malapit. So, hindi namin alam, ano dito? Saan kami
Mm.
titingin? Tapos,
Mm.
she doesn't also make an effort to go towards the object na gusto niya. So, we're left at a loss. Umiiyak lang siya, pero there's nothing there to tell us what she needs. So, ending, lalo na ako as the sister, ako yung usually nagtatry mag-decode ng gusto niya. Kasi syempre sila mommy and si dada busy, nagtatrabaho, trying to make ends meet. So ako yung madalas na iiwan talaga kay Danny after school. But it gets hard. So this is where AAC came in. So gusto ko teach bring up to because I still see a lot of families that are very hesitant with regards to AAC. Ngayon, nakakatakot kasi siyang acronym eh. Pero I break it down as it means alternative and augmentative communication. Meaning lang, it's just another way for them to transfer their message to us. Ang sanay tayo na communication is verbal, words. Pero there are so many other forms of communication that don't rely on words, which is yun nga, yung mga non-verbal na using signs and gestures, using photos, and even writing is considered non-verbal communication. Pero yun, sa ngayon kasi parang, 'di ba, wish natin sa mga bata, makapagsalita man lang sila. So, I needed to bring this up, Teach, kasi ito yung nag-unlock ng potential sa amin ni Danny. Kaya I'm very, very thankful for her very first speech therapist, si Teacher Abby Dulay, who has left the Philippines na. Pero yun, kaya lagi akong bukang bibig sa kanya. Siya yung reason for Danny's progress now. So, whenever I tell parents then to try out itong AAC, it's because I want to give the child mismo the ability to communicate on their end. Kasi yun nga, it's always the fact na tayo as family members yung nagde-decode for what the child needs to other people. We have to think of the possibility na we will never always be there for the child. So what happens now when the main decoder of the child goes away or something happens na wala sila dun sa situation na yon? So you're basically leaving the child vulnerable and you're going to make it a lot awkward for the people around them kasi hindi nila alam what to do. So, providing this one for the child at least gives them the chance to say what they want on their own accord. Tapos, yun nga, I need to bring this up, Teach, kasi the EAC also demonstrates knowledge na hindi natin alam the child had all along. So, case in point po, Teach, dito sa AAC, sa sister ko. We didn't know at that point na Danny had such a vast vocabulary. Magaling siya sa categorization. Whenever we tell her complex instructions, kaya niyang i-follow. Through her AAC, she can form sentences agad. Tapos, nakakapag-answer siya ng questions. All of that, we didn't know kasi nga, we were looking forward to her being verbal. Na, yun lang, magsasalita lang siya. And dahil sa fixation namin dun sa pagiging verbal niya, we failed to notice na she was trying to find ways to communicate with us. Pero ending nga, dahil sa sobrang frustrated niya, lagi siyang nag-whine lang or umiiyak lang siya. Kaya ito, as much as may pushback from this one, I always still tell families na to try it out, na hindi siya totally replacement for speech. Yun nga, ito yung concern. But my child might not speak. So, common misconception siya. Time and time again, ang dami ng meta-analysis that showed never nag-impede yung AAC ng speech production ng children. And actually, if you go through these studies, may nakasulat din doon na parang in 89% of the cases, nagka-improvements actually doon sa speech production no mga bata given this AAC. Tapos for the others, parang walang decrease. It's just parang mild na improvements. Pero 89%, that's a big percentage, nag-improve naman yung speech production nila. Pero yun, I acknowledge na dahil dito medyo nahihirapan din yung mga families na i-carry over ito sa house. Kasi it's confusing eh. It's a whole new system na you're introducing not just to the child but to the family as well. Tapos you have to explain pa to the families na it's like learning a new language. You have to use it all the time in all contexts. So, unfortunately, for a lot of families kasi, that's too much to ask them. Kasi nga,
Mhm.
burdened na nga sila with the everyday realities nga. Tapos, they're trying their best to support the child with the therapy. Tapos, may pinapagawa na tayo sa bahay for therapy. And then, we're adding this one on top. So, ang dami. Ang dami na namang
Mhm.
demand sa mga parents. So, actually, Teach, ito, I wanted to share this with you just in case also na any of your followers were interested. I developed this handout na binibigay ko sa mga parents din na I start with AAC na ano nga ba yun? How do you start? How do you teach? Tapos, anong gagawin mo? Saan mo siya gagamitin? So, ayun, ito na yung very quick cheat sheet for
Yan. Yeah.
AAC.
So, Teacher Gab, Doc Gabby will send me tapos yun nga, if you want po, you can just message me tapos i-share ko po yung PDF nito. Tama ba?
Yes.
Teach PDF to or
Yes,
yeah.
PDF to teach. Tapos
Yan.
doon, meron din ako mga files kasi ang dami kong kinompile na mga communication boards na yun, complete naman yung mga
Yay!
core words na to. So, for families, print, tapos follow lang itong mga steps na to. Tapos yun,
Yes.
good to go na.
Yes, totoo. Para kahit papaano dun sa mga interested, no? Tapos teach, ang isa pa kasing setback din dyan. So I appreciate this one. I-share natin siya, tsaka po-post natin siya. Ano kasi, mas marami kasi teach yung stuck pa sa PECS. So I'm sure, di ba, no?
Yes.
It's under
Mhm.
AAC, yes. Pero
Mhm.
it's bigger pa talaga pag AAC po kasi. So ito pong,
Yes.
thank you for this teacher, Gab, and then i-share nga natin sa kanila. So yan, pwede po mag-message po kayo tapos i-share ko po sa inyo. And ipo-post ko rin siya. Kasi yun yung mas, pag sinabi mong AAC Teach, mas familiar sila pag sabi mong PECS, Picture Exchange
Text.
Communication
Yes.
System. Oo. Which is, yun nga, medyo kopong-kopong. Tapos, marami na pong
Mm.
improvements, marami na pong advantages po and ano talaga advances na talaga. So this one po will be helpful. Tapos yung mga core boards nga na pwedeng i-share sa atin ni Teacher Gab. Thanks,
Yes.
Teach!
Yun, Teach. Madami namang core boards yun. Pero yung tama ka, Teach. Actually, surprisingly, ang dami ko pang nare-receive din na referral na simulan daw sa PECS yung bata. So, parang ako, as an
'Di
AEC
ba?
specialist nahihimatay ako na, ha?
'Di
PECS?
ba, Teach, 'di ba? Yun na nga pero kasi Teach parang yun nga makikita mo talaga na we're so far behind talaga. Kasi
Mhm.
yun pa rin yun yung ko parang nandun pa lang sila, nandun
Nandun
pa
pala
lang
tayo.
sila.
Yes.
Oo, nasa PLEX pa lang tayo pero kopong-kopong na yun eh. Parang mas
Yes.
ang dami ng advances sa AAC, ang dami ng options eh, 'di ba? Pero parang kapag sinabi mo AAC, yes, PEX. Doon agad sila
Yes.
makaka-relate.
Yun. So, for context lang po sa mga watchers natin, yung in-explain nga namin ni teacher ay, yung sa PECS po, dati kasi yun talaga yung pinakauso. Pag sinabi nating PECS, Picture Exchange Communication System, so, merong isang maliit na picture, yun yung bibigay ng bata, tapos ibabalik mo sa kanya yung actual object. So, yung PECS po kasi na yun, kumbaga, isa-isang picture lang din siya. The development in terms of AAC po kasi, mommies and daddies, ay, now we know that children are actually a lot more capable than we make them out to be, lalong-lalo na po yung mga nonverbal. So they actually do much better pag mas madami silang access ng words sa isang screen kaysa yung isa-isa po tinuturo sa kanila. So yun, like with my sister, going back teach, kaya din sinabi ko, and this is not to give false hope to any families, pero this is based on our personal experience na from that one nga teach na wala masyadong words talaga si Danny, sobrang tahimik niya as a child. After her constant use of her AAC, she now is able to formulate her own sentences. Medyo may I think it also helps teach kung meron ka makausap regarding Gestalt language processing. Kasi it seems like my sister is that way. Pero yun nga, teach, parang imagine, she was 7 when she got assessed. I think 10 pa nga siya nag-start ng therapy talaga with her speech therapist eh. Pero yun, she went from minimally verbal to actually making sentences, and right now nga po ang problem namin is sumasagot na siya sa amin. So, alam mo yun, even if at that age na, 'di ba tayo inisip natin, the younger the better, pag
Yes.
older na sila, medyo mahirap na yung progress. My sister still made progress. She started talking more actually recently, and she's 19 already. So, yun, AEC was very helpful for us. So, I hope lahat ng mga families na nanonood ngayon na, more of non-verbal pa yung mga kids or minimally verbal, they try to open their hearts and minds then into for AAC. Kasi that's
Yeah.
giving the child the chance to talk for themselves.
Oo, tsaka teach ako yun talagang sinasabi ko nga din. Sometimes, it's where the parents are so hyper-focused, so focused dun sa expectations nila that
Yeah.
sometimes they fail to see that, ikaw na sabi mo, teach, di ba? Meron na pala siyang tinatry pa na iba, pero hindi,
Mm.
except lang yung ini-expect natin, which, halimbawa, example, sa experience nyo, speech kasi yung hinahanap, di ba?
Yes.
Na magsalita siya, oo. Pero siya, kaya nauuwi sa whining and crying kasi nga, marami naman talaga siyang concepts na na-absorb in sa mind niya, na nami-make out niya, na nako-comprehend niya, pero inside her brain lang. And then hindi lang talaga na lalabas effectively as speech. Pero the family gets so focused on speech na it's not working talaga, 'di ba? Kasi doon lang eh. Pero
Yes.
with use of AAC, yun nga, magugulat ka na, ay, alam niya pala yun. Meron pala siya nito kasi nag-provide ka ng other means na maipakita at ma-express niya yung mga natututunan niya around her, hindi lang speech. Pero again, ako yun, I try my best talaga to shed light talaga and to parang parang magring ng bell or parang sa mga parents na pag so focus ka kasi sa speech, you get to miss out all the other things that the person or the individual is actually trying to communicate. Kasi gusto mo lang tanggapin speech lang na dapat may mga salita, masagot niya or words actually lang. Parang yung papasok doon um sa checklist mo na yes, nag-speaking na siya or
Yes.
effective tong speech therapy niya kasi may speech na siya. When there's so much more that could be targeted and can happen. Ayun, teach.
Yes, that's true. So ito, Teach, sisend ko lahat tong mga ano ko, gamit ko for AAC para sa mga viewers mo.
Thank you.
Yun. So, ito lang, very quick ending lang siguro for my talk. So, yun nga, going back to why I wanted to become a doctor pala, I felt like kasi even with my practice as a speech therapist na I know the diagnosis from the speech therapist perspective, pero I felt like I needed to know more about these kids. Kaya, I wanted to really learn about the ins and outs ng diagnosis nila, ano ba yung medical management for these diagnosis. So as a doctor, yun yung iniisip ko ngayon na ano yung diagnosis nila, ano yung possible mga comorbids nila or other conditions that are adding on to the diagnosis at saka ano yung usual medical management. Pero the beauty of it is I still can't let go of me as a speech therapist kasi iba talaga yung approach natin, teacher. We're thinking about yung participation nila on a daily basis, how they communicate verbally and non-verbally, relationships nila with others and with their family members, at saka yung quality of life nila. So, kumbaga, combining both perspectives, both of my licenses, alam ko na the family needs both. So, kahit papano, parang yun yung goal ko. And this is why it's also important na even hindi ako na dual license, as a team na meron tayong mga doctors on the team, may other therapists tayo on the team, the families need all of us. Hindi talaga tayo nagfa-function individually to help the family move forward. We also have to work together as a team. So, yun ang end ng talk ko.
Ayan. Oo. So, magbaback, actually, ang dami yeah, ano po, dun sa mga nag-send, excite sila dun sa pinost mo and yung mga i-share mo. Yeah, I'll make, one of these days po, stay tuned po kayo sa page, ipopost ko po yung makukuha ko pong materials kay Doc Gabby. Or you can also send, and then, isa replyan ko kayo na pahintay lang yung post.
Yes.
Kukunin ko lang yung materials, tapos i-share po natin siya. So, kung tingin tayo kung may questions. Pero, nakakatuwa, Teach, we have been having very active participation, tapos we have been having 50 plus audience so far from when we started, so nakakatuwa naman. And I hope yung mga na late or hindi na umpisahan, pwede nyo pong balikan to. I will post this sa YouTube channel ko na Miss Joy SP po para mabalikan nyo po. And ayan, so wala pa na meron bang ayan, puro papasalamat sila actually and interested sila dun sa file. Yes po, pa-stay tuned po. Tapos, Teach, post mo naman yung mga details mo, yung next na slide mo.
Ay, okay. Ayan. Yan. So, ano lang pala, Teach, i-plug ko na lang din pala. Baka kasi meron kang mga viewers dyan na from Laguna area, San Pedro
Yan.
Bulacan. Ano po kasi, bale yung mga mornings ko, I have dedicated it to free consultations for families who are still unsure of what to do next. Kung kailangan ba talaga ng therapy ng mga anak nila, if there really is a cause for concern. So, open naman po yung center ko for these patients. They just need to message yung admin namin sa Facebook page namin para at least makasecure ako ng time sa kanila. Kasi hindi ko na-rush yung consults. For as long as may questions yung families, I continue the consult. So sometimes tumatagal din ng 1 hour yun.
Mhm, mhm. So, ayan po, South Grove Therapy Center. So, I would say na lang yung buong Laguna area. Yan, yan. Kahit from San Pablo pa kayo, ganyan, interested. Go! Pabook po tayo, free consultation po kay Doc Gab. And thank you talaga, Teach. Alam mo, sobrang dami kong natutunan talaga. And what I really appreciate, dun sa shinare mo talaga today, feeling ko, Teach, meron talagang mga parts of our life and yung mga nangyayari sa atin na may seem to be very dark, very gloomy, very hard. Pero once talaga na malagpasan mo siya, parang nagkakaroon ka ng opportunity na to pay it forward. Katulad nyo, I think yung passion mo and yung heart mo talaga into what you're doing comes from the fact na hindi kayo masyadong na-support nung
Yes.
kayo yung, 'di ba? Yung
Yes,
part na
true.
yon na sobrang burdened kayo, 'di ba? Tapos tingnan mo yung quality of care and passion na binibigay mo ngayon kasi you know how it feels eh, 'di ba? Yung dark and gloomy part na yun ng family life nyo and nung pinagdaanan mo made you to be the person that you are. So, kitang-kita yung heart mo, yung care mo, yung concern mo now kasi yun nga, it's parang sabi nila no teach, it's healing yung part mo noon nung wounded ka that you're
Yes.
able to give back. Totoo, totoo din talaga yon that you're able to help the same family, para nakikita mo yung sarili mo when back then, ganun yung pinagdadaanan nyo. So,
Mhm.
iba yung compassion mo. Ano mo, I think the same for, nandiyan ka sila Awesome Nanay, tsaka sila Mami Zil, yung mga vloggers natin na parents. I think, yun nga, sila din na nag-go through difficulties and challenges. Feeling ko, sobrang better advocate nila because dun sa mga hardships nila, they turn it into, yun nga, healing din by
Yeah.
helping other people, by advocating. Nakikita mo yung heart and passion nila to help. Kasi, ano yun, they know what it feels like talaga dun sa mga part na yun. So, genuine yung napapakita talaga. So, nakakatuwa lang, Teach. Sobrang dami kong natutunan. I so much appreciate your
Thank you din,
expertise and sa
Teach.
ginawa mo. Tapos, coming pa na from experience mo, no, talagang, ayun, doktor, LSP, tapos family pa with ND, a
Yes.
neurodivergent learner, di ba? So, you're able talaga to, parang nakikita mo yung self mo and then na-integrate mo siya how to move forward. Sobrang nakita ko dun sa slides mo na to, sa presentation mo na to, yung compassion talaga, totoo. Talaga
Thank
sobrang
you.
na-inspire talaga ako. So, ayan, may mga question pa ba? Ayun po. Yeah, so yung tanong kasi ni Mr. Sean, if you'd like to teach, ang tinatanong niya kasi is from once na parang single words pa lang siya. Ang gusto niya kasi is conversation. Ikaw, anong take mo
Yes.
doon, Teach? Sabi niya, how do I support? Parang, teka, binabalikan ko. Pero parang ganun yung idea niya eh.
Yes. Kasi 'di ba teach, this is what I always mention sa parents, malaki kasi yung jump from verbal to conversational. Parang ang daming nangyayari in between that one. Kasi when a child is verbal, you mean to say na yun nga, may words siya. Pero it's also how he uses those words para makapag-interact in many other ways. So like kahit yung sa pag-answer ng questions, yung comprehend ng stories din at saka pag-retell ng stories. Kasi doon talaga nanggagaling yung conversation. Kumbaga, 'di ba, yung problem kasi ngayon teach with conversations with a lot of families, parang more of Q&A yung datingan kasi na mag-ask yung family ng question. Syempre, yung anak sasagutin the way they know how. So, let's say, ito yung isang palagi kong narinig teach na, kunyari, tinanong daw nila yung anak nila, what do you want? Kasi sinabi nung bata daw is, let's say, cookie. Pero ang gusto nila sabihin ng bata is, I want cookie. So, binabalik ko po sa nila, sinasabi ko, pero, di ba nasagot po yung tanong nyo? Tapos napapaisip sila na, oh, well, yes. Nasagot naman yung
Mm-mm.
tanong ko, pero gusto ko kasi sentences. So, doon ko na-explain na, but if you think about it po kasi mommy and daddy, yun nga, technically, they answered your question. So, hindi natin din mafo-fault sila for that one. Whether they use sentences or not, the message is the same. They answered your question about what they want. So, if you really want to encourage yung use of sentences, it might be better to target it another way. Hindi yung Q&A na you ask them a question tapos you expect them to answer in sentences. So, yung pinaka ni-recommend ko for a lot of families in terms of conversations ay to ask less questions. So, it seems counterintuitive, pero I want, usually kasi it helps to have families shy away or move away from yung Q&A setup ng conversations kasi sometimes kids have a tendency, especially yung mga may language delayed kids natin, may tendency sila na ang iniisip nila, the way na makipag-converse with other people is to wait for a question tapos i-answer lang nila. So para maturuan talaga yung kids to engage in conversation, you have to be the example of a conversation. Kaya mas kinakausap mo sila yung kumbaga yung self-talk and parallel talk natin. More of narrating yung mga ginagawa mo, nagkukwento ka lang talaga. Tapos, you also wait. Parang kumbaga, may sinabi ka, mag-pause ka din, mga 5 to 10 seconds, ganun. Give them time also to try to interact with you. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Tuloy-tuloy ka lang sa ginagawa mo. Kwento-kwento ka lang. Pero yun, I think one of the more important steps nga, teach yun nga, is to undo the learning na kailangan may question before magsalita yung bata. Kasi dun nasa stuck yung mga families.
Totoo, Tish. Or, yun nga, di ba, parang iniisip mo, ayaw mo ng sentence, pero pag tinanong mo siya, appropriate and functional yung sinabi niya. So,
Yes,
target it in a different way talaga. Tapos ako din
yes,
if I will answer it, a lot of modeling po talaga. Yung model more, yung ikaw magkukwento ka, kasi yun yung kailangan nila. Kailangan nila ng maraming models para malaman nila na, mas mahaba para dapat sumasagot or pwede palang habaan ko.
yes.
And then also consider yung diagnosis ng child, tapos yung current skills na meron yung child, no? Kasi kung
Mhm.
single-single pa lang talaga siya comfortable, tapos hirap pa siya sa 2 words. So, yun nga, imagine niyo po, kung puro mga
Yes,
single yan, tapos gusto mo na sentence, teka lang, dapat 2 words muna
yes,
yata, 3 words muna yata, di ba? Pero pag
yes,
sentence agad,
teach.
ayun, a big jump talaga. So, para lang yun
Mm.
sa mga parents na na kinikilig na, uy, nag-words na yung anak ko, naririnig ko na. Tapos,
Yes,
kailan po siya magiging conversational? Na parang lagi ko talaga sinasabi, there's so many layers to it. Ang dami pong demands, ang dami pong processing, ang dami pong multitasking na magaganap para sa isang conversational skills. So, medyo kalmahan lang po natin yung pagkakilig natin sa mga improvement ng
yes.
anak natin. Oo. Kalmahan lang natin, tas 'di ba, sabayan natin sila
Yes,
kung
naalala ko
nasaan
nga, teach,
sila.
yun nga, may same question lang sa akin na parang, bakit ganon, nagsasalita naman yung anak niya, tapos pero hindi conversational, tapos nung tinanong ko na ilang taon na ba, mga magto 2 years old pa lang. So sabi ko, technically po kasi mommy and daddy, ganon lang yung conversations nila, dahil single words lang yung kaya nilang sabihin, single words lang din yung masasabi nila sa'yo. That's their
Mm-mm.
conversation already. So you just have to
Oo.
wait for the development kasi the improvement sa conversations come with time. But also, yun nga, teach, parang automatic kasi yung thought ng mga parents when it comes to conversations ay full-on sentences na maganda na yung exchange. I always
Mhm.
let them know na sometimes children also need time to respond. So, hindi sila agad-agad magre-reply sa'yo. You need to give them time to respond. And also, minsan, kunyari, may shinare sila, tas nag-reply ka, parang sometimes din, kung paano ka nag-reply doesn't give them room to share anymore. Kaya
Mhm.
nananahimik din sila. So we also have to be aware dun sa mga tinatanong natin. Like yun nga, usually nagsa-stop yung conversations pag question eh. Like kunyari, naging yes or no question from the side of the parent. Magno-no si anak, tas wala na. That ends the
Mhm.
conversation. So yun, being careful din na how do you respond? You have to give them room then to be able to respond back to you.
Mhm. Tapos sabi ni Mami Joy, ask ko lang po, once ba na na-diagnose na may speech delay ang bata, automatic ba ASD na din ang bata? Ayan.
Definitely no. So,
Mhm.
ibang entity talaga ang speech delay versus yung sa ASD. So, ASD, I'm not sure kung nandito po kayo, Mommy Joy, earlier, pero I mentioned na 4 kasi yung criteria para sa diagnosis ng autism. So, hindi siya basta-basta na-diagnose. Ang speech delay kasi, pag sinabi nating speech delay, ibig sabihin, hindi na, let's say, ito yung dapat kaya ng bata, andito lang siya. So, may gap doon sa dalawa. Yun yung speech delay. Pero, it doesn't really tell you completely na ASD tong bata. In my experience, I've had kids na speech delay lang yung diagnosis nila pero hindi naman naging ASD eventually.
Yes. Tapos i-refer ko po kayo. Ang ganda po ng talk ni Doc Camposano Marquez last June 30 po, Tuesday po. So nasa YouTube channel ko na po 'yon. Nagbigay po siya ng magandang explanation about GDD, ASD, ADHD. Nasa YouTube channel ko po na Miss Joy SP. So pwede niyo pong balikan. Tapos may isa pang question, each when do we consider to start using AAC if a child is verbal but minimally conversant? Is it safe to share also these materials for other guardians na di afford magpa-therapy?
Yes, definitely. So, in terms of AAC sa child na verbal pero minimally conversant, I view it, bale, AAC is for everyone. So, wala talaga siyang criteria na ito lang yung pwedeng gumamit ng AAC, ito lang pwede. It's for everyone. Now, in terms of a child na verbal naman pero minimally conversant, yung possible situation din kasi din dito, mommy or daddy, is marami pa ding iniisip yung anak mo outside of language. So, usually in the cases of children na diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, di ba meron sila mga sensory needs. So, ang lagi kong ina-explain sa mga parents ay sometimes those sensory needs take up a lot of space sa brain, that it doesn't leave enough room para pag-isipan ng bata yung questions, mag-formulate siya ng sentences, tas sabihin niya yung sentences sa'yo enough to be conversant. So in order to help them, kahit papano, participate in the conversation or respond appropriately, tinutulungan mo i-unload sa brain nila yung tatlong demands na yon with the AAC. So, kumbaga, may space for the sensory needs, enough space to understand the question, pero yung actual answering the question, in-outsource mo na siya doon sa AAC. So, doon na sila magpo-formulate ng sentences, doon na sila sasagot sa'yo. Kasi nga, as I mentioned, yung brain nila is using a lot of brain power or space para sa ibang bagay na equally as important sa kanila. Kumbaga, dito pumapasok teach yung sinasabi ko lagi sa parents na huwag niyong pipigilan yung pag-system ng anak ninyo kasi it helps them focus or it helps them regulate themselves. So, yun yung isang purpose ng AAC for a child who is verbal but minimally conversant. Sometimes, they also need that space in their brain to think about the sensory needs. So, hindi natin sila ifo-force to talk just because we want them to be conversational. Everything has to work for your child. So yun po yung reason bakit minsan we use AAC for a verbal child.
Yes. Teach, okay lang i-share ko ulit yung page ko. Thank you so much. We're actually
Ayos!
wrapping up na. And then, wait, sabay share screen ko. Ayan. So, ay wait. Ayan. Isi-share po sa atin again, yun sa mga interested po, doon po sa AAC, no? I-share sa atin ni Doc Gabby. And ipopost ko po. So please stay tuned po sa page po kapag po na-post ko na po siya. Tapos just quick reminder lang po nung for the remaining events pa or available services that you can send after this po kung may katanungan kayo pwede po kayo mag-send sa page. Medyo pasensya lang kung medyo matatagalan po akong makasagot pero try ko po kayong balikan kasi medyo marami ring ganap. Yan. Try ko po kayong balikan kung may questions po kayo or in any other ways that I can support po. Tapos I'm just letting you know, ayan, sa Saturday na po itong free online speech and language consultation ko online via Zoom. So just save this meeting ID and passcode. Tapos join po kayo 8 to 9 p.m. po yan this Saturday. So hindi po siya FB Live. You have to join in a Zoom meeting po and ito po yung important details na isi-save nyo po para maka-join po kayo doon. And postpone po yung for this coming Sunday and I'll just let you know kung kailan po yung next. Tapos ito po yung free webinar na gagawin ko on July 18 naman. It's going to be the same Zoom meeting po na the details how to support high-functioning neurodivergent learners. 8 p.m. din po yan. So thank you very much, Teach. Thank you so much for the success of this Facebook Live and thank you for saying yes dun sa rescheduled date natin. I've learned so much. Sana na-enjoy mo yung experience and hindi siya last time. Looking forward
Yes!
to more collaboration, Teach.
Yes, Teach. Thank you so much for this opportunity. If there's any way that I can help you mga viewers nyo, then please just let me know. I'm right here. I'm a message away.
Thank you. God bless everyone. Thank you, Teach.